Hello and welcome to my Just Cause comparison video. Today we're taking a look at Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 4. It's a hotly debated topic as to which game is superior, and I plan to put that argument to bed with a series of rigorous tests for each respective game. Without further ado, let's get into it. There's no doubt that for the most part Just Cause 3 looks better. The water, shadows, lighting, it's all superior in the previous title. Other than the effects that the amazing tornado can create, Just Cause 4 is severely lacking. Just Cause 4 also features a downsized resolution on all platforms, with the console severely lacking in anti-aliasing, giving a super jaggedy image at sometimes. This is of course alleviated on the PC platform, but the PC platform only. JC4 does boast the dynamic weather effects, as well as some nice bloom, and when the image isn't jaggedy, it is a smoother looking image than JC3. Just Cause 4, no doubt. Since its release on all platforms right up till now, all patched up and everything, Just Cause 3 just loves to dip you below 20 FPS and give you a taste of what it'd be like to travel past the speed of light. People claim that on consoles, if you disconnect your console from the network, the game runs better, and I can attest to it helping somewhat, but when you have to inconvenience yourself just to keep the game between 25 and 30 FPS, you've lost me. Average presentation aside, I was very pleased that JC4 ran very well almost all the time, rarely dipping below 30 FPS on console. If you got a monster PC and you can enjoy both a good frame rate and Just Cause 3 at near or its best looking, good on you. But most of us are either left with a better looking game that runs like shit, or an equal or worse looking game that runs just as well. This one is also quite decisive. As previously mentioned, Just Cause 3 is the prettier game and therefore has the prettier world. However, just about every location is almost exactly the same. Locations are consistently reused, and while they are a spectacle most of the time, as you plow through the game you'll quickly find yourself asking, didn't I liberate this outpost already? Just Cause 4 isn't immune to serving up reheated bases to you, but benefits from what are essentially biomes in the game world, as well as dynamic weather. The game features snowy mountains, deserts, wetlands, jungles, while Just Cause 3 is lacking in variety. This variety of locations, even if a samey looking base is slapped into it, offers the player a lower feeling of redundancy that was felt in JC3, at least by me. Both games actually offer both inoffensive yet very enjoyable soundtracks, despite their completely different sonic qualities. Just Cause 3 is a fiery Latin affair with booming drums and orchestral sections, mixed with lightning fast guitar plucks abound, whereas Just Cause 4 is a more synthetic and electronic affair, and is a bit more subdued. I love them both honestly, and I think they do a great job suiting their game. So in turn, which game you like more will determine which soundtrack you like. And which game do I like more? The Just Cause games don't exist to tell a story. They exist to let you fuck around and cause billions of dollars in property damage while a story is sometimes going on in the background. But regardless, it is still there, and in Just Cause 4 at least, you need to complete the story to get the entire map to yourself. So let's dive right into it. Just Cause 3 sees Rico in his home country of Medici defeating a dictator dude named Di Ravello. Spoiler alert, he beats him. Just Cause 4 sees Rico in the country of Solis defeating his dad turned dictator dude named Espinoza. Spoiler alert, he beats him. Here though, there are a few talking points. With these titles, their stories are a lot like their soundtracks. 3 has a very bombastic and free-feeling story, where 4 is a more subdued story. 4 has an air of seriousness that 3 simply doesn't have. But that's a two-way street. Is 4 the superior story for giving just a tad more of a shit about its characters, or is it a worse story for trying to add a touch of reality to this frankly ridiculous and over-the-top franchise? 3 sees Rico as a more Schwarzeneggerian hero. Always has a one-liner ready and is never fazed by an explosion, while 4 sees a more somber and reflective version of Rico. Is it well done? Not really. But if adding personification to a balls-out world like Just Cause entices you, then 4's story might be more up your alley, while 3 just lets you dick around and still unlock everything whether or not you go through its quote-unquote story. So here's the meat and potatoes of the Just Cause series, the sheer fun of the experience. And let's get it out of the way, both games are a total blast through and through, easily some of the most fun I've ever had in gaming. No game series quite lets you go as crazy as here in the Just Cause series. But which between 3 and 4 offers the most fun, and which does so most consistently? Well, let's break down the gameplay loops of each. 3 quickly drops you into the game world after a lightning-fast tutorial, and from there you're allowed to free roam and liberate outposts at your leisure, with the story being wholly optional. Just Cause 4 does things a little bit differently though. You dropped into this world just as fast here, however this time you have to take the outposts, in this case called territories, piece by piece with a decent amount of freedom as to where you want to go next. These territories are much more like side quests than the almost scavenger hunt way Just Cause 3 outposts are. Neither system is perfect. JC4 contains annoying and specific timed missions such as standing near a hub and defending it as has convenient ways of enemies come barreling towards you or dunking marked vehicles into the ocean before they explode. It can get tedious very fast. This is helped somewhat by the tornado missions that appear during the story, especially the last, but the sandstorm and thunderstorm missions, oh my. So what about the open and free outposts of JC3? Well, as previously mentioned, these outposts at times can be ridiculously samey, as well as some of the biggest bases in the game being complete fuckfests of zipping around until you eventually stumble across the one generator that the devs lovingly put in the middle of goddamn nowhere. But there are two decisive factors in each game that will make or break it for you: the weapons and the tethers. Just Cause 4 offers a series of weapons that all have secondary firing methods, in general something that explodes. This makes every gun superbly unique, whereas weapons in Just Cause 3 are mostly the same with just varying stats. And some of the special weapons in Just Cause 4 beggar belief: the railgun, the lightning gun, the wind gun, all with amazing primary and secondary fire options. So Just Cause 4 easily creams Just Cause 3 in terms of weapon variety, even with the DLC. And that brings us to tethers. On paper, Just Cause 4 crushes this section too. A truly massive but really confusing menu, offering you both primary and secondary functions of your tether, as well as the ferocity of the effect in low, medium, or high. Just Cause 3 basically only lets you multi-tether. Although it has to be said, with the new tether mods, the balloon and the booster, it's kind of pointless practically speaking, and they only serve to amp up your dick around factor a little bit. The UI menu for these tethers though is truly unfathomable. One of the worst menus I've ever seen in a game, not even trying to be hyperbolic. All things considered, I like JC4's weapons and tether abilities a little bit more, but JC3's more freedom approach to liberating the map is far better than a series of timed missions with a less freeform approach to the world that JC4 offers. Well, for Just Cause 3, you have the choice of the base game or Just Cause 3 XXL. Simple enough. But for Just Cause 4, you've got the Deluxe Edition, Gold Edition, Reloaded Edition, and Complete Edition. So what's that all mean? Well, for context, the Deluxe Edition and Gold Edition were released upon being able to pre-order the game, and then the Reloaded and Complete Editions are basically better halves of the Deluxe and Gold Editions. However, they were released a whole year afterwards. Essentially, this completely fucked over anyone who paid full price for the game, or God forbid, full price for the Deluxe or Gold editions of the game. I wasn't as sore since I got the Gold edition for around $20 in mid-2019, but man, what a shitty thing to do. Not to mention them marketing JC4's map trumping the size of the truly colossal Panau map from JC2, when in truth they can only claim that when they include all bodies of water in their analysis. Goddamn, Square Enix the fuck out of this one. They're both pretty much exactly the same. They sound great, but both get muddied sometimes when a billion things start exploding around you. Okay, all looks good here. Oh no! Bad mark for JC3 there. Ooh, that was nasty. All seems to be good here, though.
But I'm gonna be butt ass naked so the wind could just be hitting my balls and shit. Hey, bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Alright, good marks all around here. I couldn't fucking find any. Nice. Man, I may have gone a little off topic here. After all those very serious and specific details ironed out, the conclusion is still a tough one. Really, which Just Cause is right for you comes down to a few factors. Both games are a total blast, and I think you'll love it, and consider adding its sister game upon completion of one of them. Hell, that's what I did. If you're on console, I'd advise you to get JC4. I know some people could somehow look past the horrid performance of JC3 and still enjoy themselves, but I really couldn't, and to be on the safe side, I'd go with 4. So on PC, it only gets trickier. Here, 3 still suffers from performance issues, but they can be smoothed over for the most part with some tweaking. If you really want to just grab a game and start blowing shit up and do whatever you want, JC3 is the ticket. While JC4 is a slightly more guided experience, but in my opinion is a little more rewarding, thanks to some super fun story missions, as well as more interesting weapons to dick around with. So, If you want a fun through and through experience on the PC, I'd recommend JC3. But for those with consoles and those seeking a more complete feeling experience, I'd recommend JC4. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and hopefully I helped you reach a conclusion on which one to buy. Thank you for watching.